Good afternoon, everyone. We want to provide our parents, students, employees, and community members with an update in light of the 2-week closure of all public schools for students that was announced by Governor Roy Cooper yesterday afternoon. As a reminder, GCS schools will be closed for students from Monday, March 16th through at least Friday, March 27th. The closures include all before and after school programming and community facility use. The state superintendent for public instruction also announced yesterday that Monday, March 16, is a teacher workday for all school district personnel in North Carolina public schools. The idea is to give us time to prepare, plan, and train, and parents, guardians to pick up their books and belongings. Tomorrow is a mandatory teacher workday. This means all employees are reporting to work. School nutrition staff should report at 6 a.m., and transportation staff should report at 7 a.m. The state superintendent declared it a workday to give us time to prepare. If you are sick with any illness or not feeling well, please stay home. Other GCS employees may be at high risk for complications. Stay home if you're at high risk. If you're not sure, ask your healthcare provider. You can provide a doctor's note later to your supervisor. For parents, our schools will be open from 9 until 11 a.m. and from 2 until 4 p.m. tomorrow, March 16th, to allow parents and guardians to pick up their children's books, book bags, medicine, and other personal belongings. While at school, parents and guardians will also be able to pick up instructional resources to take home so their children can access supplemental learning resources online while they're out of school. Parents and guardians should make sure they know what their children's student ID numbers are. If you're not sure, you can get it again while at school tomorrow. This is very important to take advantage of online learning opportunities. You need your child's student ID number. This is also their lunch number. Parents also will want to pick up and bring home their children's ID cards. That's the GCS 1 card, while picking up materials on Monday. This will allow students access to public library materials online. Again, parents, guardians may pick up their children's belongings and instructional resources information about distance learning between 9 and 11 a.m. and between 2 to 4 p.m. If that time is inconvenient for you, please simply call the school to make an appointment. Right now, we know our schools are closed for students until at least Friday, March 27. We need to prepare now for longer than anticipated school closures, however. If teachers wish to work from the school building any day after March 16 for the rest of the week, they may do so. Parents, if you are not hearing from us via our evening robocalls, it might be because we have an outdated or incorrect phone number for you. When you come to our schools tomorrow to pick up your children's belongings and directions for online learning, please make sure to give your home phone, work phone, cell phones, and email addresses to the school office, along with your name and your child's name, so we can update our system. We can't reach you if you're not in our system or if you have opted out of receiving these messages. The same is true for our employees. Please go online through the employee self-service portal and update your contact information or make sure that the contact information provided is still correct. We are sending updates via robocalls, text, and emails every evening, and we are updating our website, social media accounts, and GCS TV daily. We are answering questions in Let's Talk as quickly as we can. Please check our website for the most current and detailed information. Please let your school know tomorrow if your child or children do not have access at home to devices like laptops or tablets that will support online learning. While we do not have a full solution in place yet, we are working on several options and will communicate more to you during the coming days. We also understand that many parents are having trouble getting through Spectrum to inquire about the free internet service. We have passed these concerns along. Meals will be delivered to our students in transition, our most vulnerable students who are homeless, and these are at the 5 shelters housing families with students in hotels, motels, and private residences where students are staying temporarily. GCS Transportation Services, Nutrition Services, and community partners continue to work to finalize plans to ensure that children who are in need receive meals while school is not in session. We have received many questions and text messages, emails asking how can the community help with feeding. We want you to know there will be a list of community organizations who are acting as the liaisons to provide food for families and are taking donations. Please remember that we are employing a practice of social distancing, so this is not the same as when we had the hurricanes or tornadoes. So we are asking, those agencies are asking for donations. And we'll need some volunteers, but we will not have volunteers at school sites. And those agencies will be the point persons for, or point organizations for questions about volunteers or volunteerism and donations. More information about both efforts, again, will be on the district website. With respect to online learning, we have been developing plans for online learning for the past 2 weeks, and we'll have more information later in the week and plan to start the distance learning by Monday. It's important to note that while we have great confidence in our teachers, virtual learning will not take the place of or be of the same quantity or quality as the day-to-day instruction your child is currently receiving. We are exploring ways to provide devices to students who may not have a tablet, laptop, or desktop computer. Spectrum is providing internet connectivity at no charge for 60 days for students on free or reduced lunch. Again, we will provide more details in the upcoming days, and we will have some resources available to parents on the website immediately. To our employees, we want you to know we are not stopping any pay. All of you will be paid. Again, all of you will be paid. We are not stopping your pay. At this time, I'd like to turn this over to Mr. David Parrish from the City of Greensboro. And welcome, Mayor Vaughn.
Thank you, Dr. Contreras. We just want to reiterate some of the things we've said before, that we certainly support the school system and we care about this community, and we've been working to coordinate efforts as much as we can possibly closely with the school system as we reached and continue to support all of our residents, including the children that go to school and the families that support those children. We recognize that the community will be impacted by these decisions and by this closure for the next 2 weeks, as will our employees. We employ close to 3,200 people. We are trying to communicate with our employees as much as we possibly can about the status and the operations of our facilities as well. We've worked and will continue to work with the school system to help coordinate and facilitate any feeding sites or any feeding locations. Again, more on that to come in the days ahead. We appreciate all the support that I think we've received to date from non-governmental institutions, faith-based, nonprofits. The community, as always, has shown that we are willing to step up and support each other during a time of crisis. As a reminder, for our facilities, we are reducing our operational hours in an effort to reduce the spread. We are going to reduce even some of our bus operations to ensure that they're properly cleaned, increasing sanitation at our facilities. We are not going to shut off water to any customers that for non-payment issues. Again, this is an effort to help our community kind of get through this. And we're working with our employees to remain as flexible and creative as we possibly can as we ensure that services of the most critical nature are delivered to this community during the next few weeks and hopefully not too long in the distant future. But we stand united, and I think the county has been here all day. High Point stands supportive of this, as do other jurisdictions with the city of Greensboro as well, as we support the entire county during this time.
Thank you. Mrs. Hayes, our board chair.
Thank you, and thank you. I'm so glad to know that we've been working with the municipalities. Cross-systems collaboration is absolutely critical for a situation of this magnitude. I know that we have been working and planning as much as we can, given that we're given information day to day, and then just being given the information from the governor yesterday about the closing of school. We had been anticipating that, and the superintendent and her staff have worked really diligently to try to cover all bases. Guilford County Schools is oftentimes the largest employer in this city. We're always in the top 5, but oftentimes the largest employer. So we have employees, and we impact the lives of tens of thousands of children, and so this is no small feat. So I'd like to thank the superintendent, her staff, the city, the county. I know Chairman Jeff Phillips and Marty Lawing were here earlier. Vice Chairwoman Linda Welburn has been here all day yesterday, and I was not, and just about all day today working with the staff. And so we're all going to just push through this and do the best that we can to get accurate information out there to our community.
Thank you so much. Again, we'd like to thank our county partners. Chairman Jeff Phillips was here all day with the county manager, Marty Loring, and Mr. Don Campbell. Also, Michelle Kennedy was here all day, a city councilor. I want to thank the GEA, who was here, the executive director, Winston McGregor, and board member. Also, as Dina Hayes just mentioned, the vice chair of the board was here all day, Linda Welborn, and the board members have been working with me all day long, calling, sending messages. Mrs. Garrett has been texting, asking questions, making sure that constituents' concerns were answered, and making sure, as chair of the legislative committee, that she was taking an account of all of the issues that had to be raised. Mr. Tillman came in last night to help out Mrs. Irby, Miss Diane Bellamy Small, made sure they stayed in contact all day. Mr. Gladding called at midnight, stayed on the phone for an hour, letting me know all of the organizations that wanted to help with providing food to students who might not have food. We thank all of our board members, Mrs. Sharp included. Also, I wanted to make sure we all of our families know we do have a helpline, 336-332-7290. Again, that helpline number is 336-332-7290. If you have food needs, health concerns, if you are an employee with questions, if you have a question about digital learning, if there is a crisis, there's a family crisis, or you have a question about special education, please contact that number. We have interpreters in about 7 different languages. We can assist you. Please let us know. The number one more time is 336-332-7290. For our students and families, we know that you are experiencing a lot of stress. We were informed today that we are able to use our facilities as childcare sites for the children of healthcare workers, and we are beginning to work with the county and our healthcare providers in the county to start working on how we do that. So we'll be in touch with you on that, and we'll give you information on how you can take advantage of those childcare services. We are not at this time allowed to use the buildings for instructional services. We're also going to be working with churches who have schools within the facilities, their church facilities, to try to provide digital learning sites for our students who are in shelters, who are homeless, or living in hotels or motels, and even some who may be living in cars. I understand there were some who thought the number 2,107 children who are homeless was really astronomical. They had trouble believing that. That number is just the number we have documented. There are others we may not know about. If you're homeless and you hear my voice, please call this number, 336-332-7290. Or let a teacher know, let someone know so we can get to you and provide you with help. But we are going to work with churches to set up some digital sites for you. We have principals who have volunteered to man those sites. The senior staff will begin to provide instruction for our students who are incarcerated and are minors beginning later this week. So we have school support officers and chiefs who are all certified teachers, former principals, who will begin to teach in the Juvenile Detention Center to make sure every single student will receive an education. Again, we thank you so much for all of your support, and we'll be glad to take any questions that you may have at this time.
Danielle Jackson with Fox 8. My first question is in regards to school cleaning. Are you all planning to go through the schools through this 2 weeks to see if to sanitize and do any cleaning during this period?
Certainly we do. Our custodians will be continue working in the schools to do deep cleaning. We feel like that'll take the better part of a week to touch every area in the school to get that done.
Also, was High Point leadership, the city of High Point, was their leadership involved in this process with the 2-week school closure as well?
No, we have not spoken with the city of High Point.
Another question. In regards to graduation and seniors taking the SAT, is there a plan in place to deal with that?
So several seniors took the SAT this past Saturday, and that went on as originally scheduled. The state is issuing guidelines on potential waivers that will need to be considered as school closures remain, and as soon as we receive those updates, we'll be sure to share them.
Another question, if nobody else go. Also, what's the plan in place if there's a student or family who never gets a tablet or laptop or internet service? How will they be taught with how will you all bring special accommodations to them?
Well, by executive order, we cannot have them in the buildings. So we are depending on this great Guilford County community to support one another. Because we simply cannot open the school doors because we don't have, a family doesn't have internet connectivity. So I do ask that the community reaches out to one another to make sure that first basic needs are being met, that folks that are homebound. There are lots of elderly people right now that cannot get out, that they have food, that families have food, that children are not home alone, while families are trying to go make sure that they are making ends meet, that they also make sure that children have internet connectivity. There are some who have hotspots and other tools. We would ask that they share those. But this is a statewide problem, especially in rural areas. There are 1.5 million children. There are many areas in North Carolina that have difficulty with connectivity, and the state is trying to work on a solution for that.
Okay. In regards to students who may have special needs or disabilities, is there a plan in place, because doing remote learning or distant learning is difficult for that group?
It is very difficult. We know that there is a state task force working to make certain that we come up with a plan for special needs children. The first thing is to make sure that as part of our virtual learning plan that we provide services for special needs children, but we fully realize that we are going to have to provide some compensatory services for these children.
Mayor Vaughn, are you taking any questions? Do you plan to put a lockdown in place for the city of Greensboro? I understand there's been a couple of events this weekend in regards to quarantining.
I'm not sure what you mean in regards to quarantining. The governor's order was pretty specific on what his regulations were. He did not specify at this point restaurants and bars. He did not exempt them from his executive order. So restaurants are still able to function as normal. You know, I believe in the social distancing, and I would encourage people to do takeout at this point. I would not be surprised if the governor modifies his order. Short of that, we do not have the ability to tell people that they can't operate as legally permissible at this point.
I just want to say one more time to all of the families that we are working hard to make sure that you have your needs met. We are working with the county, working with the city. We are reaching out to the city of High Point to ensure that you have food, that children are taken care of while their parents are at work. We're asking employers to please be flexible so that children are not left home. To the children, I know that you might feel afraid. Please don't be afraid. We care about you so very much. And I can tell you, as a person of great faith, with a lot of faith, I believe that we are never forsaken. We are never alone. Likewise, you are not alone. This community cares so much about you. Please remember to call if you need help, and we will make sure that we get to you. Thank you so much.